Manual transmissions, you know, those things that nobody really drives anymore but weirdos on the internet like to praise as false gods. Yeah, manuals. In this video, we're gonna look at every manual transmission car sold in 2022, all 38 of them, and rank them from worst to best, because not all manual transmissions are created equally. This list is going to be our subjective opinion based on how good the transmission is, but also how good the car around it is, because there's no real objective way to say one manual transmission car is better than the other. We've also put the cars into tiers to help break up the list a little bit more. So without further ado, let's get into the list. We're going from worst to best, so we're starting off with the slow tier. These are the cars that offer a manual transmission but aren't very inspiring to drive. First up is the Mitsubishi Mirage. Something had to be ranked at the bottom, and with only a 78 horsepower 3-cylinder engine, the Mirage was the obvious choice. The Chevy Spark is next, barely outclassing the Mirage with its 98 horsepower 4-cylinder engine. Yeah, not inspiring at all. The Nissan Versa closes out our slow tier with 122 horsepower. Still not fast or fun, but it's by far the best in this category. Next up is our truck tier. We personally think that manuals are great because they make a car fun and involving to drive, but with trucks, an automatic is just as good, if not better. The Jeep Gladiator and Wrangler are up first. Both offer a 6-speed manual, but it's not a great transmission. We much prefer Jeep's 8-speed auto. The Toyota Tacoma ranks a little bit higher because its 6-speed automatic transmission is not great. We could see the manual making it a little bit more interesting to drive. Closing out this tier is the Ford Bronco. This manual is pretty good, featuring 6 forward gears plus a crawler gear for off-roading. It's easily the best of this bunch, but we still prefer the 10-speed automatic transmission. Ford clearly agrees because the new Bronco Raptor, the high-performance model, is auto only. Now we're on to what we're calling the not sporty tier. These are the non-performance cars that are relatively decent or good to drive. The Subaru Impreza kicks off this tier because it's still offered with an old-school 5-speed manual box, but at least it's pretty nice to drive. The Subaru Crosstrek ranks above its Impreza sibling because it offers a more modern 6-speed manual. Unfortunately, it doesn't go much higher on this tier because you can only get the manual with the smaller 2-liter engine. Next we have the Mazda 3. We love how Mazda still offers the 3 with a stick, but you can only get it on the top hatchback trim level with the middle engine and front-wheel drive. You cannot get a Mazda 3 with all-wheel drive or the gutsy turbo engine if you want the manual. Come on Mazda, just give us a new Mazda Speed 3 already. It may have less power than the Mazda 3, but we ranked the Toyota Corolla a little bit higher because we really enjoy its 6-speed manual transmission. That and Toyota offers the stick shift on more trim levels, and you can get it on the sedan and hatchback body styles. Mini offers a manual transmission on its Clubman, hardtop, and convertible models, so we decided to lump them all together since they are so similar. Mini may not offer a manual on every trim level anymore, but all 3 of these cars still have it on at least one trim level, and each one is very fun to drive. The Honda Civic closes out this tier because Honda offers one of the slickest manuals available at any price. Unfortunately, you can only get the manual on the hatchback body style unless you get the Civic Si, which appears later on this list. Now we're on to the automatic better tier. These are performance-oriented cars that we prefer with their automatic transmissions instead of the manuals. The Hyundai Elantra offers a 6-speed manual on its sporty N-line trim with 201 horsepower. However, we much prefer the 7-speed dual clutch option that's offered for $1,100. The Kia Forte appears next for the same reasons as the Elantra. It only offers a manual on its sporty GT trim with 201 horsepower, but unlike the N-Line, the GT is actually cheaper if you get the DCT, which is why it ranks one higher on our list. With 228 horsepower on top, the Volkswagen Jetta GLI ranks a little bit higher than the Hyundai and Kia twins. But, like those Korean cars, we much prefer the GLI with its available 7-speed DSG transmission. After the GLI, we've lumped together the Volkswagen Golf GTI and Golf R. Both of these hot hatchbacks offer a 6-speed manual, but Volkswagen's dual-clutch DSG is so darn good, it's the transmission we'd pick on both cars. We close up this tier very differently with the Dodge Challenger muscle car. Now, admittedly, Dodge has actually stopped offering the 6-speed manual on its 6.2-liter supercharged Hellcat models since we started recording this video. We think this absolutely proves our point that the Challenger deserves to be in the automatic better tier, because even customers decided that the 8-speed automatic transmission was better with so much power going out to the rear wheels only. Now, you can still get a manual on the Challenger if you get the 5.7-liter or 6.4-liter Hemi V8 engines, but even on those, we prefer the 8-speed auto. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI didn't really fit into any of our tiers, so they appear here on our list in their own separate group. The standard WRX offers something called a Subaru Performance Transmission. That's just a fancy way of saying continuously variable transmission. In a performance car, yuck, we'll easily take the manual. Luckily, the high-performance STI, which is now one generation behind the WRX, is only offered with a 6-speed manual, which is pretty cool. Now that we've talked about the cars that we prefer with an automatic transmission, now we get on to the tough decision tier. In this tier, we're going to look at sporty cars that are great to drive whether you get the manual or the automatic. It would be a tough choice for us on either of the transmissions because they're both great. The Ford Mustang kicks off this category, offering a manual transmission on its EcoBoost and 5-liter V8 models. Ford's 10-speed automatic transmission is pretty great too, and as a sign of the times, the high-performance Shelby GT500 model only comes with a dual clutch. Next up are Hyundai's N models, the Elantra and Veloster. Both of these are available with either a slick 6-speed manual that we absolutely adore, or a quick shifting 7-speed dual clutch unit that offers a cool N-Grin shift feature. Both transmission choices are great because Hyundai's N division models are fabulous to drive. The BMW M3 and M4 close out this tier because of their excellent performance. However, both of these cars miss out on getting into our highest tier because the automatic transmission versions are so good. In fact, you can only get the manual on the base rear-wheel drive versions. If you want the more powerful competition versions or the X-Drive all-wheel drive models, you're locked into getting an 8-speed auto. Before we get into our top tier, you may be wondering why certain vehicles are absent from this list. There are 5 vehicles that will come with a manual transmission that we just couldn't rank because nobody has driven them because they're not on sale yet. Those 5 cars include the Nissan Z, the Acura Integra, the Honda Civic Type R, the Lotus Emira, and the Toyota Corolla GR. These vehicles might go pretty highly on the list, but we didn't want to say for sure because we haven't driven them yet. Be sure to go down into the comment section and let us know where you would rank those 5 cars in our list. And while you're down there, please leave a like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to be alerted of our latest videos. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for. The great tier. These are the best of the best manual cars offered in 2022. This was the hardest category for us to rank, so we're sure there's going to be some debate about this in the comment section. The Honda Civic Si kicks off this tier. It's not the most powerful car on here, but its 6-speed manual can go toe-to-toe with any other transmission on this list. Honda has mastered making a great manual, and this new Si deserves its spot this highly in our ranks. The Subaru BRZ and Toyota GR86 are up next, barely beating out the Civic based on their incredible rear-wheel drive platforms. Remember, we said that the manual has to be good, but the car around it also comes into consideration. Don't get us wrong though, the manuals in these cars are excellent, or else they wouldn't be here this high on our list, and we wouldn't dare get either the BRZ or the GR86 with their automatic options. We can think of few cars more perfectly suited for rowing your own gears. The highest of Detroit's muscle car trio, the Camaro makes it into the great tier for several reasons. First, unlike the Challenger and the Mustang, it offers a manual on every engine choice. You can get it with the 2.0 4-cylinder, you can get it with the 3.6-liter V6, the 6.2-liter V8, and the supercharged ZL1 model. Secondly, we love how the Camaro feels more like a sports car and less like a heavy muscle car. After the Camaro, GM gets 2 more cars on the top tier with the Cadillac CT4V and CT5V Blackwing models. Both cars use the same Tremec transmission found in the Camaro, but they feature some key upgrades to make them even smoother and more fun to operate. These might be some of the final high-performance sports sedans to ever get a manual transmission, and we frankly love them for it. You knew it was coming, and here it is, the Porsche 911. We're being a little controversial with this one, as you'll see with our next pick, only putting Porsche's legendary sports car at number 3 on our list. The reason why the 911 only falls in at number 3 is because we think the 911 is so big and powerful nowadays that it deserves Porsche's quick shifting PDK transmission. Plus, the 911's 7-speed manual that's offered on the lower trim levels is not our favorite. The GT3 still gets a 6-speed, but that wasn't enough for us to vault it over the number 2 spot on our list. So at number 2, we've got the Porsche 718, Boxster, and Cayman. Yep, that's right, we put the Boxster and Cayman ahead of the legendary 911. Let us explain. We think the smaller, less powerful 718 models are more conducive to a manual versus the larger, more powerful 911. By the time you reach third gear in the 911, you're traveling at ballistic speeds that will get you thrown in jail. By comparison, the 718 models are a little bit slower and more manageable out on the road, making them perfect for their 6-speed manual transmission, especially in our favorite trim of all, the GTS 4.0. From the moment we started making this list, there could only be one car at the number 1 spot, and we knew exactly which one we wanted it to be: the Mazda MX-5 Miata. Yes, we know it sounds crazy to put a 181 horsepower car over the 3 Porsches, but hear us out on this. The Miata is one of the most driver-focused cars you will ever experience. Because it lacks the power found in some of the other cars on this list, it requires the driver to wring every last ounce out of it. There are few better feelings than nailing the perfect upshift as you crest the Miata's 7,500 RPM redline. If you get the 6-speed automatic transmission on this car, you are seriously missing out on a fabulous experience. So that was our list ranking every single manual transmission car sold in 2022. Did you agree with our list? Let us know in the comments, and as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to be alerted of our latest videos. I'll see you next time.